Yeah.
And I must admit, I was very nervous about it. I mean, when I recorded, I'm going, oh gosh, I hope this will be okay. And even up to I remember a week before the record came out, I said to Roger, we can't put this out. People aren't going to talk to me. I knew that it was either going to be #1 or nothing. There was no in between because it was such an extreme record and it was such a, you know, like a change for me. But it was amazing what it did. I mean, girls cut their hair and the headband thing, and then
People went to aerobics.
gyms, and
I thought about that.
I thought to myself, I better do this because I better
Well, then
be
what
fit
about
myself.
Travolta? I mean, like, we see these shorts of Staying Alive, and he looks fitter than Sylvester Stallone.
He looks incredible.
Now, as far as yourself is concerned, what are you doing film-wise?
I just finished one 2 weeks ago with John Travolta. It's called Two of a Kind, and it's a romantic comedy, but it's got a lot of drama in it.
And I guess a lot of people were expecting when they heard that John and Olivia were getting back to do a film, that it was sort of going to be like a follow-up to Grease, even though there'd been a Grease 2 made.
Right. Well, we thought of it, but we've been looking for films since Grease, and have never found anything, you know. And the musical ideas that came up just weren't right for us, so we decided we'd look for anything, whether, you know, I think we work well together, whether it's musical or not.
Right.
So when we found this one, John rang me up and he said, I found a script, and he said, if you don't like this one, I don't know if we're ever going to like anything together, you know.
Right.
Thank goodness I loved it.
Right, now, since also you've been out here for the last 2 weeks, you've been sort of on what you'd call a sort of a slight shopping spree, and you're opening an Australian shop. Now, what does that all mean?
Well, it means a lot of work.
Right.
It's been going on for a year now. I wanted to open a milk bar, and Pat wanted to open a dress shop because we both, you know, I felt like I wanted to do something just for fun. So we decided we'd put the two things together, and neither of us have ever done a business venture like this before, so it's been a lot of learning, you know. So we came out here and we went to all the Australian designers and saw what there was available and what we could get over there, and we picked out, you know, a lot of the top people. This is Linda Jackson, we have Jenny Keys and Stuart Membry and Prue Acton and Ozzy Sweats and a whole group of people. Excuse me, the ones I've left out, and jewellery and accessories and gifts, books, children's toys, and then we have a milk bar on the other side where we're going to have pies and pavs and lamingtons and sweets and stuff like that. So we found this guy in Texas who's Australian, and he's starting to make meat pies, so we're going to fly them in, float in fresh from Houston, pies, and we're going to make our own pavs and stuff.
Well, I mean, Men at Work sort of made Vegemite a sort of fashionable word with Down Under. And I find that in America, they're sort of, more than ever before, quite sort of taken back by the whole Australian thing now.
True. Vegemite, believe it or not, has become a gourmet thing. There have been things in the newspapers about gourmet things with Vegemite. For all the Australians, it's hysterical, you know, but they're selling them in quite a lot of shops.
So what's your shop called then?
It's called Koala Blue.
Koala Blue.
And Koala stands for Corner of Australia in LA.
Right.
Like that, eh?
Yeah.
And Blue is our character. He's the koala. So we did a lot of research into the name. It took us like 9 months to pick the name, and we discovered, talking to lots of, like, excuse me, what do you know about Australia, that all they knew, the majority, was that we have koalas. So we thought, well, that's one name they'll immediately associate with Australia.
Right.
And so anyway, that's how it all came about.
Now, when you were making Xanadu, you met Matt, and now Matt's film career has taken off. How do you both fit that in to each other's lives now?
She's been really lucky because when he was working, I wasn't, and vice versa. And so he could have dinner on the table for me and all that stuff when I got home. And he just finished a film, actually, it's just coming out in Australia, I think, called My Tutor, and it did really well in America. It's in the top 20 of the money-making films, even though no one's really heard of it that much. It's doing really well. So
so do you sit down at the dinner table and criticise each other's films, or?
No, well, I thought he did a terrific job in this one, so I didn't need to. But I think, you know, he would be honest with me and I with him if there was something I thought wasn't right or could be better. But I think we're very supportive of each other as well.
All right, now listen, before we finish this interview and before you go back to America, you must be so relieved to go back there now because of just what we read and everything. It must have been horrific to have the thought of someone perhaps, you know, stalking you out. And especially after the John Lennon thing, etc. I mean, it must be horrific for you in that respect.
Well, the press always like to exploit these things, unfortunately, because the unfortunate thing about that is that the more they make of it, the more it brings out the other people who are not all there obviously, or they wouldn't do such things anyway. And that's the problem with even talking about it. So I try to keep a very low profile about those kind of things, because 99% of being a celebrity is fantastic. There's that 1% bad element that, unfortunately, they're attracted to people who are well known.
Right.
And it is frightening, but it's part of my life I have to accept, and I try not to dwell on it. And I don't want to really.
Well, I think it's going to be a happier
expound on
place this time to go back to.
it. Oh
Anyway.
yeah, I'll be much
All
better.
right.
Yeah.